Hey, what's up, guys? Charles here with Jimmy, back for another episode of e-commerce marketing chats. New week. What's going on, Jimmy?
It's getting to that busy time of the year, I think. If you're not preparing for Black Friday, you're already well behind the eight balls. So, our chats are usually about what we're working on at the moment, so probably likely to be what's going on in the Black Friday preparation space for us today, and yeah, probably some client side stuff too, because I've kind of got the full scope. People that are preparing, people that aren't, and people that don't want a bar of Black Friday. So we might jump into the reasons for each, and then yeah, kind of discuss that a little bit more in depth as well. But I've also just seen that you've put out kind of an SEO guide in the Facebook group lately, e-commerce marketing community, grow your Shopify sales. Go check that out on Facebook. But yeah, I've just seen there's an 18-minute video in there for SEO Black Friday tips. So I'm keen to. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but keen to get your rundown on that and what's in there and what people can get value from in that as well.
Yeah, sure. No, well, I'm happy to break that down. It was basically kind of a rundown of what you should be doing in order to increase your organic visibility to your site during that period. So setting up your website for SEO success, whether you're a small e-commerce store or even a larger scale e-commerce store as well. So yeah, we can go through into a little bit more detail on this chat. So um, Jimmy, where would you like to start? Where's what you've been up to this week? I know that you've been pretty busy. Yeah.
Yeah, personal life's been busy this week. Just you know, 4-year-old birthday parties, my brother's bucks party, family birthdays. Yeah, it's all been happening over this weekend. So got stuck into Monday with just a fresh mind. I managed to take my mind off work for the weekend, but yeah, now we're well and truly getting stuck into the Black Friday, Cyber Monday kind of holiday promotion sprint. But yeah, I can kind of give a rundown of what I'm seeing early. So, and let me provide some context for this as well. So, basically, I have kind of two clients that I do consulting on with and done for you service across kind of a whole marketing range and managing their, I guess you could say, other agencies that they're working with too. So, I'm the one that's in communication with them and then reporting back to the business owner. And then I have kind of my bread and butter, my Google Ads agency where I just handle the Google Ads. So I'm a small part of a larger cog, and I just specialize in the Google Ads side of things, which is what I've done, or what I've been doing, Google Ads since 2013. But there's a vast difference that I'm seeing in how clients are approaching Black Friday. So basically, I just gave Charles kind of a quick glimpse of one of my clients, like what we've got outlined for, the next 2.5 months, and we've already planned that far in advance. Like we've got the New Year's Day sales kind of in the works as well. So before we even get to Black Friday, we're kind of mapping out the whole warming up your audience before Black Friday and then how to kind of maintain the sales through that Christmas period as well. Um, and honestly, that document was probably about 30 dot points long or about different sales, different promotions. And I think all up, the emails that will probably be going out will probably be close. It'll it'll differ depending on what segment the person's in our audience. For example, if they're brand new, they'll get a more comprehensive welcome flow in some of our campaigns. But if they're already an existing customer, then they'll get a lot less emails. So you're probably looking in the vicinity of 30 to 50 emails from now to January 1st. And that's kind of, we've all mapped it out strategically, different promotions for different things, different traffic sources as well, and how we can kind of get multiple bumps in revenue throughout that whole period. So if you're going about it that way, it's the best way to do it because this is who you're competing against when I email out my client list, hey, what's happening for Black Friday? Yeah, we're running a 24-hour sale on Black Friday. Percentage off, and that's it. So they might get potentially one decent sized spike, potentially not, because if they're relying just on that 24 hours, you are going to be in the inbox with every single other e-commerce store that is sending out emails on Black Friday. So, yeah, and unfortunately for my clients, on the Google Ads side, a large majority of them have said that to me, and I've kind of briefly just touched on, why they should be thinking about it in a more comprehensive manner and not just half-assing it on a weekend sale, because sure, it might get a little bit of traction, but if you're wanting to grow your sales significantly, you need multiple spikes throughout that period, multiple offers, multiple things that are going to get people back to buy over that busy period. So yeah, it's a bit of a minefield in terms of one end of the scale where people have mapped out day by day what the campaigns are looking like with purpose, and each campaign having kind of a dedicated reason for being there, compared to someone, oh yeah, we'll run a percentage off discount on the day of Black Friday. And then you've also got the camp that don't want to discount anything, so they don't want to get involved in Black Friday at all. I'm like, it's not always about discounting anything in your store. You might have excess stock that you're not even planning on selling, or you might have additional freebies from suppliers that you have that you can give away in a promotion, like spend X, get this product or item for free. Um, a lot of these clients that don't want to be involved in Black Friday already have a clearance and sales page for products that are on sale or discounted. So it can be as simple as just changing the messaging around those pages or products for that period to somewhat be involved in Black Friday rather than just, cutting it off completely, because the opportunity cost for not being involved when everyone's got the period where everyone's got their wallet out. If you don't want to be involved in that, then something not right with being in the e-commerce space. If you don't want to be there when everyone's got their wallets out before Christmas. So yeah, you've got a few extremes. You've got the ones that don't want to be involved at all. You've got the ones that are only planning like a flash sale over the Black Friday weekend, and that's it. And then you've got the ones on the higher end of the scale, which have planned out their whole promotional period pre and post Black Friday meticulously. And I can tell you right now, the brands that are going to drive the most amount of revenue are the ones in that third bracket. So if you're, and it's getting to the point where it's almost too late, like to plan out something comprehensive now. We've been talking about this for probably 3 or 4 weeks. Like, you need to be in the planning phase now. It's getting to the point now where if you haven't planned it out meticulously, like, it's almost too late, because once you hit like halfway through November, you've already lost that pre-phase for Black Friday. It's gone. So if you haven't been thinking about warming up your audience and how this whole campaign is going to play out pre and post, then yeah, there's a huge opportunity cost there for one, not being prepared and kind of downplaying the biggest kind of period in e-commerce sales.
Jimmy, question for you. So you talked about pre and the post.
Mhm.
This is something that I think a lot of stores are not too sure, like, how long should this period be? Because obviously, technically Black Friday is a Friday, but as you mentioned, if you want to make the most of utilizing the most amount of sales during that period, then the best brands are doing a kind of pre and a post. So what's the kind of the date or time frame of that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period?
Yeah, I mean,
And yeah,
honestly, it starts now. Like, people should be
okay,
warming up and segmenting their email lists. When I say segmenting their email lists, you segment the people that haven't been engaged in a very long time and try to put out some more engaging emails, not just sales, but things that they could potentially engage with to try get them, I guess, as warmer prospects for your sales period. But also, so this client that I was just showing Charles, like we're launching a giveaway next week, and that kind of is the start phase for our Black Friday. And the reason for launching a giveaway is we want to collect a whole bunch of emails for people that are actually interested in those products. So we're giving away some of those products. And to be in the draw, you have to provide your email address. And there's also a virality factor too, so they can share the competition with their friends. So we're kind of looking to just bank a large amount of emails before Black Friday. So these are the kind of efforts pre Black Friday. You want to grow your email list, warm up your current list to the idea of a sale. And then we're also experimenting with little things like a VIP test sale. So sending it to like our highest, sometimes only like our 100 top customers and being like, hey, here's a small discount. Can you give us feedback on what kind of sale you're looking for? And here's a 10% or whatever discount code for the store. So just in case, for whatever reason, the Black Friday sale explodes and there's no stock left, you can get in early for a slightly discounted price. Little things like that. So the main sale hasn't started or happened yet, but already we're having promotions, little micro sales to segments of audiences, and also we're sending emails to say, hey, we're going to have exclusive discounts this Black Friday on our SMS list, like our text message list. So if you want to be involved in that form of communication, sign up here. So we're trying to grow our other channels too in the lead up. And yeah, that's the main effort for lead up. Warming up a list, growing your list, and then having some micro test sales on the way up to the largest sale as well.
No, it sounds like a really good strategy. And in terms of actually, um, launching your Black Friday sales pages or specific page, uh, when are you looking with your kind of consultancy clients? When are you looking to get that executed and live? Is that
Yeah,
is that a week before officially Black Friday, or is it literally on the day and you're doing a lot of the pre-work leading up
no,
to?
so we are like we're almost pushing like it's almost a thank you sale for our clients as well. So there'll be very slim profit margins, but we'll be launching on the Tuesday before Black Friday and finishing up on the Saturday, but it will be kind of a significant sale. So it's not something that we want to run the whole month or anything like that, but we want to have a really significant sale over, I think, that 4 day period from Tuesday, or 5 day maybe, from Tuesday to Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I mentioned in this video that I posted in the group today that one of the sites that I showed as an example, one of the larger e-commerce stores, they've already got their Black Friday sale running, which I think it feels a little bit early. I mean, obviously, I don't have the data to show that, but I would imagine if you're launching it already, it kind of you lose that anticipation of, and it may be that kind of sales are sporadic and they don't really, you don't get that big burst of, I don't know. What's your thoughts
Yeah,
on
it's
that?
hard. No, I agree. So I look at it from my own psychology. I'm like, if they're already having a Black Friday sale now, to get more people over the line, they're probably going to have a bigger one on Black Friday. So I'm not necessarily like they'll definitely get those little bump sales that we're talking about, but they're not going to get that huge spike. I wouldn't have thought from launching that early. And I'm like me myself. I'm not even in that large buy phase mindset at the moment. Like if I'm a consumer, I'm looking around. I want to make those bigger purchases on Black Friday because or around that period that's super close because I know that's where I'm going to get the best bang for my buck. So everything before that is kind of if customers are on the edge and they're wanting something now and not Black Friday, like you're going to convert more of those. That's where those little spikes will come through. So I have no problems with them, like companies launching this early. And the thing is, it's hard for us to judge too because we don't know their strategy. And that's why having your own strategy is so important. You can't mimic everyone else's because one, you don't know their numbers and you don't know how well they'll do in between each period, and they might have 6 or 7 Black Fridays under their belt and they know what works for their brand. And if launching super early has done really well for them in the past, then why wouldn't they do it again? And I feel like some people look at Black Friday in the lens of the particular industry that they're in. So, for example, for me, I kind of look at Black Friday with high margin products, but for the clients that I kind of do these sales with. But I also have clients that operate on much slimmer margins, so the strategy changes significantly. So yeah, different strategy for every store. I agree with you too. Launching too early can kind of take that buzz away. But I mean, we had an example on the show like a couple of weeks ago of that. I think it was Factory Finds. I mean, we were looking at them and they already had their Black Friday link in their navigation. So, but the
Yeah,
thing is that they already run massive sales throughout the year anyway. So it's coming back to what I said before about the companies that don't want to be involved in Black Friday. These guys aren't actually running a Black Friday sale. They've just changed their current sales that they're already running to Black Friday messaging, which I think is smart. So it's you might have an opinion on this, Charles, but I think it sets them up well organically for
it
people
does.
searching for
Yeah.
Black Friday stuff, having already a couple of months of solid traffic through those pages before Black Friday.
Yeah, exactly. I can see why they're doing it from an SEO perspective. It allows Google to, read crawl the page early and starts getting them ranking for the right types of keywords. Even if people are not searching now, it puts them in a position to be top of Google. If none of their competitors are doing it, then it's going to be easy for them to rank. So yeah, like you said, from an organic perspective, I can see why they're kind of getting that set up and live already. Um, but yeah, like I said, like you mentioned as well, they've got the larger stores that are familiar with doing these sales year after year have got plenty of data. I'm sure there's clear reasons why they do that.
I think what's exciting at the moment as well is I'm kind of like I've documented on paper everything that not on paper, sorry, in Google Doc everything that we've kind of set out for this Black Friday period. So I'm almost using it as a case study, and I think at some point I will release it to the community as well, especially coming into Black Friday even next year. But just kind of the level of planning and thought that should go into a campaign. I'm wanting to document as much as possible at the moment because I know it will be really beneficial content for people next time, but not even for Black Friday. It's what you should be thinking about with any significant kind of sale, whether it's end of financial year or any like like Prime Day weekend, if that's in your window. Any kind of these big sales, you should have a pre and post plan for it. So, yeah, just being able to see. I need to get the results first, which is why we're pushing so hard this month for larger results. But yeah, I'll be able to break down kind of everything that we've done because I am documenting it along the way, and I'm running the whole thing for this particular client that I'm doing the case study on. So I know everything that's happening behind the scenes, and exactly what's gone into it because I'm either doing the content or managing the people that are doing certain aspects of this Black Friday campaign. So yeah, it'll be another good case study that people can use, and we'll have to evolve it for next year if too many people are running the same campaign that we're running this year. But yeah, it's a fun time. But November, as you know, is the busiest time in the e-commerce space for a service provider. So Sometimes my client meetings push out to an hour. I've already sent out an email being kind of quite strict that hey, these are half an hour slots, and I'm not extending over November for obvious reasons.
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine you probably getting plenty of requests to jump on a call and go through things. You could spend half your day on phone calls, couldn't you?
Yeah, another thing I hear is like Black Friday didn't hasn't worked for me or doesn't work, and then they tell me what they did, and it's usually the 24-hour flash sale. It's like, do you know how many emails people would have got that day, or do you know how many competitors you're going up against just in that 24-hour period? There's no pre or post planning involved, and that's the missing piece for people that want to do well. It kind of makes me want to build out my own e-commerce project next year to just
Yeah.
do everything like at the absolute max level and kind of maybe I'll do that next year as well. Other than client stuff, I'll like start a store, build it up, and then just go flat out over that period and show people what's possible, even for a store that would have been out for, you know, probably at that stage less than 6 months.
Yeah, that'd be exciting to see actually. But you're right. If if you half it, you're gonna get mediocre results, aren't you? So um, yeah, there needs to be some thought process into it, and it needs to be properly planned well in advance. Otherwise, you're playing catch up, and you're not going to be able to get the right strategy in place.
Another thing to think about for brands, this is kind of something else that popped up this week. A certain client, actually, the issue happened last week. I think we touched on it briefly, but the client had a kind of a brief outage of their payment processes. So, one, having a sorting out a backup for Black Friday, because I couldn't think of anything worse if your payment processor goes down over Black Friday and it's the busiest time of the year for you in your business, then to put it politely, like you're screwed. Like you can't wind back the Black Friday day if your payment processor isn't working, and you probably would have pissed off the most amount of customers that you've ever pissed off in the shortest amount of time. Um, but also, this is kind of longer term thinking too. Some of the brands that I work with that I do the Google Ads for, they just have way too much of a reliance on Google Ads. There's some of them, um, and Google as the platform, some of them are pushing 85% of sales from Google platforms, which basically says to me, hey, we're not doing email marketing, we're doing nothing on social. And well, basically, if you're doing a good email campaign, it should be making around like 20% minimum if you're doing a good job. I've seen it as high as 40 if you're doing a phenomenal job. But for again, it depends on the industry. If you've got an industry with really high kind of repeat orders, like supplement food companies, spices, herbs, all that kind of stuff. If you've got a lot of repeat orders, then email should be significant. But if it's one-off purchases, I can understand why the email part of it would be lower. But 80% on Google is too much reliance. If something changes in your SEO or something significant changes on the ad platform, it's a massive risk factor to the business, and them, especially if they do have a lot of staff that they're paying and they're already operating on, slimmer margins. If for whatever reason they lose a significant part of that traffic source, or even if a large competitor comes in and starts, blowing up the ad costs significantly, their business is on a ticking time bomb if they can't make it work just off a few of those things. So I think from the businesses that I've seen, kind of a healthy range, if they are focused on Google, is probably around that 60 to 65%. They're the ones that I see doing really well with other channels involved too. So that's kind of, I say that's almost from what I've seen anyway, that's kind of where you want to be aiming for. I mean, some ecom businesses just go all in on one platform, and it might be great for a while, but there needs to get to a point where you're adding other traffic sources.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of amazes me when I speak to some companies that, they're so heavily reliant on ads. They've built their business, you know, which is great on some extent. They've been able to build a thriving business, but it worries me that there's been situations where the ad platform, you do something wrong and those ads could be turned off, and they've got no organic strategy. They're not really big on social media. Their email marketing needs improving. So I think you're 100% right. There needs to be a balance. Yeah, relying too heavily on one ads platform, I think, is kind of a dangerous position long
Yeah,
term.
and this is a struggle business owners have if they're kind of solo operators without a marketing team. Is they probably want to be on multiple platforms, but they just either don't have the time or they're spreading themselves too thin. And a business owner should really be handling the logistics and the brand messaging. And don't get me wrong, the marketing's super important, but they need to more be creating the overarching strategy, I think, and then having someone else implement it for them. Unless they're starting out and they're new, I think you should be doing it yourself and learning the ropes. Um, Even on Google, I think everyone should learn the basics. So when they are dealing with freelancers, agencies, whatnot, whoever's working on their account, they can speak the lingo somewhat and at least have some understanding of what's actually happening on their account. Because the more Google Ads accounts I audit, the more can see that whoever's managing it hasn't touched it in months and months. And I remember 2 years ago, um, I was reviewing it, and the ad copy was for November, and we were in April, and I was like, "Are you guys running like an early November sale?" And they're like, "No, why?" It's like, "Oh, all your brand ads have just about your November sale," which means from November, we were in April at that point. From November,
God,
none of their brand ads had changed. So
yeah, that's not good.
it's hard just to find someone actively managing accounts at the moment. People take clients on and just let them roll, and I mean it's good for me because I can come in and just actively manage their account and get them much better results. And it's the start of a good working relationship, usually. So, but yeah, people. I feel sorry for business owners sometimes, and I don't like. You can't have someone not managing your account for that long and not be aware of it. I mean, you can put your trust in these people, but at some point you need to be taking stock and checking what's happening in your business and who's managing what and who's doing what. Uh, and yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of snaky operators out there in the marketing space. So if you've got a gut feeling that something isn't growing or something should be happening that's not, you really need to look into it.
So well, paying someone to handle your ads, but you need to certainly hold them accountable, especially if you're not seeing the results that you're expecting.
With some of the, what's frustrating for me sometimes is at the end of my monthly reports, I have a link that they can book in to discuss it more in depth. I used to do I used to do really solid like write ups of what was happening in the account and everything else and give a detailed report. But then I just over time figured out that these people weren't even reading them, and I was spending hours on doing them. And then I shift from okay, I'm going to send out standard reports with a call link, and then if they book in on the call link, I'll do a further in-depth analysis for them that I could cover on the call, and it saves me hours a month. So they still get their standard report, but I only go in depth with the business owners that care enough to have a chat about how things are going. Um, and yeah, there's some clients that I literally message and say, "Hey, can we book in a chat? Like, I'd love to discuss what's going on, and work with you. I've seen you've got a promotion on the website that I wasn't even aware about. Like, can we get more in sync? And I want to help you grow this business as well. So yeah, sometimes business owners are their own worst enemies. But I also know that some of them are just so stretched for time that it's just another meeting on their cards that they don't want. But sometimes they can get really valuable information out of those meetings that could honestly uh, be a key factor in a large decision that they have to make in what's happening in there or what's happening on the marketing side. So yeah, it's interesting to see who I deal with, but I can tell you now that the businesses that are growing the fastest on my contact list are the ones that reach out to me and book those meetings and are wanting to keep pushing. And honestly, they're the ones I like working with. Some freelancers will be like, "Oh, those clients, I want to calls with them all the time." I just like the clients that I never hear from. I was like, um, I mean, I kind of you get into this industry to help people. I don't want to take their money and never hear from them. I want to work with them to actually grow because the more you grow, in my case, I work purely on referrals. So I don't take on clients unless they're referred from current clients or a referral partner. Um, so yeah, if I do my clients a really good job, then they're sending more people my way. So and I want to build a good relationship with them too, because selfishly, I learn a lot off business owners too. I like knowing their mindset and why they're making certain decisions and how I can help them in, the Google side to amplify what they're doing. So I think you've just got more synergy in the working relationship when you're able to have regular conversations. Don't get me wrong, I'm not having a conversation with them every second day or whatever. I'm having a conversation with them monthly and they probably would book in more if they felt the need, like if there's a big promotion coming up or something like that, which is why November's always busy. But but yeah, it's important to kind of work with your clients, and if you haven't heard from them, then reach out. Charles, I know this is a struggle on your side sometimes too. I know you would like to get in contact with, especially one of your clients, getting onto the business owner, but it's almost impossible. But
Yeah, no, you're right. I do have one client in particular who, he's a great guy, and some, like you said, some freelancers would say he's almost the perfect client. I maybe have, yeah, I have a call with him maybe once every 6 7 months. And it's not for me my lack of trying. I do want to try and speak to him a little bit more regularly because there's certain things going on within the business, and I know that I can provide even better results by being in closer contact with him, so I can get a better understanding of the direction of where they want to go. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those cases which he's on the road quite a lot, in quite remote areas. I won't kind of go into too much detail in terms of uh, what he does, but yeah, it's just a challenge at times. But actually, funny enough, I actually have a call with him this week. So
oh, geez, you better write down a long list of everything that you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
cover and be like, mate, I know I probably won't hear from you in another 6 months, so I just want to cover everything that we can in this call and get through it. So
yeah.
yeah, make sure you're highly prepared for that one.
No, for sure, for sure. But it's kind of one of those where yeah, I'll feed him messages via Slack, and you won't hear anything. Again, we're talking about kind of monthly reports. I'll be doing monthly reports. Don't hear any response, and then suddenly I'll get kind of a message. Oh, can we go through this? So it's yeah, it's an interesting one. But you're right. You need to be in regular communication with your clients and be in synergy, and collaboration is key in order to, especially when you're like you mentioned before, if you're just doing SEO or just doing Google ads for the business, you're one cog of the wheel. It feeds into everything else. If you don't know what's going on with the website or social media or email, then you can't you're not going to get the best results if you're just doing one part of the business and you're not aware of what's going on within the business. So, um, yeah, it's
It's one of the
important.
things that frustrate me the most when they don't tell me that they're sending out an email about a particular product. It's a brand new product to the line, and they haven't told me, and then they've sent out an email to quite a large audience, and I know that people see the emails and go and search for it on Google, and if they haven't told me that this is a brand new product, there's a high chance that it's going to be in our lower spending campaigns and it's not going to show up a lot in the ads. So they've just like missed an opportunity, and these, especially if they're selling products that other people sell, if they're not covered for that product in Google, they're basically sending an email to promote a product that they're going to go research on Google and buy from their competitor. And
Yeah,
I've seen it firsthand. I have seen our competitors send emails for certain products, and our product revenue for that particular product spikes after kind of a competitor's email because they just weren't in the shopping ads, and like the competitors weren't in the shopping ads, and we were dominating them at that point, and yeah, we cashed in on competitors' campaigns. It's great.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's important to yeah. Well, that's another prime example of being more in synergy and getting that feedback from your clients on a regular basis.
It's I know we spoke about this one a while ago, but I also think you don't want to focus too much on your competitors, but you do want to know what's happening kind of at a data level so you can kind of react if you need to. I don't like being a reactionary business. You kind of want to be the one leading the charge, but there are some things that you need to react to. For example, if you do see a competitor send out an email and it's for a particular product and you don't have great coverage on that product, then you want to react to that and make sure you have better coverage. But also understanding if competitors are making certain moves on shipping prices or things of that nature, it's a chance for you to send out an opposite message promoting your free shipping and that how you would never charge clients for shipping or something like that. And we also discussed Wise, which used to be TransferWise. They found out that Airwallex, which is one of their direct competitors, was going to add a monthly charge to their service. So they created a page that told you how to cancel your Airwallex account. So Wise created the page to teach people how to cancel their account on a competitor, which I thought was fantastic. And they even said, we know they're raising their prices. If you're looking for a viable alternative without the monthly surcharges, like come to us. And the products are so similar that, you know, I already had an account with them, but if I didn't, I would have set one up too. So little strategies like that. There are some little gold ones that you can maximize off competitors' learning in the kind of guerrilla marketing space. But yeah, it's a it's a fun space to play in, especially in the Google ads. You can do some cheeky things, especially if you're really wanting to target competitors. But yeah, be aware of what's happening in the space of your competitors. But like, don't get fixated on it because that's when your own business growth starts to stunt. When you're just purely focusing on what your competitors are doing and not looking towards your own business growth.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I actually like the strategy of not always looking at your competitors, but looking at other industries and seeing what they're doing from kind of e-commerce perspective. Because then you get new ideas. You're not just yes, obviously it's good to look at what your competitors are doing, especially the big ones that have got a proven track record, but sometimes just replicating exactly what they're doing isn't always the best move.
I agree.
Um, Talking about kind of setting up for Black Friday and setting your website up for Black Friday, I'd love to go through um, a couple of strategies, Jimmy, in terms of yeah, setting your pages up from a kind of certainly from an SEO perspective and increasing your organic visibility. And actually, it's probably the easiest thing for me to do is show a couple of examples on the screen. Um, one of which is Lego. So I actually recorded a video which I uploaded on the group earlier today.
Why are you bringing
Just
this up, Charles? Can I ask you just a question about competitors in the e-commerce space for SEO?
yeah, sure.
So basically, are you doing any like comparison pages for SEO for like competitors? Say, so you're bringing up Lego at the moment. Say there was another blocks company. Would you ever set up like comparison pages on your e-commerce store, like comparing businesses? You know how a lot of SaaS companies do it? It just reminded me
Yeah,
when you said comparing other industries. Straight away, it made me think SaaS, and they do like straight comparisons of the features of the different SaaS products. When I say SaaS, for people that aren't aware of SaaS, I'm talking about software as a service. So any subscription service things that you buy, probably a really good one would be like Netflix compared to Prime or anything like that. They do direct comparisons. But yeah, are you running any of those on e-commerce at the moment?
not currently. No, I've done that before in the past. Actually, when I worked for a big SaaS company, we did something similar with actually one of their competitors, and it worked pretty well. Um, but yeah, not currently. I think it's a good idea. It's certainly something worth testing. Because you're right, you see it a lot in the SaaS provider industry, but not so much in e-commerce.
I
Actually,
think
yeah,
the only reason I'm thinking about it is because if some of your competitors have like a really strong brand name and you want to be able to drive some traffic from their brand name, like running those pages, it would be an interesting experiment.
mm, yeah, for sure, for sure. That's definitely something that I'd like to test. And there is a list. Sometimes what you'll find is clients are a little bit. They don't always want to run that style of campaign, whether that's fear of competitors like doing exactly the same to their brand, and uh, yeah, there might be a
You're
little bit of
right. I
a.
think I think
Do you
if
know
you're
what I
gonna
mean?
run it, you want to have like a really strong brand already that other competitors couldn't pick apart as easy. But if you've
Yeah.
got this one of the strongest brands in the market, but you're just not as well known, like, or I shouldn't say strongest brand, like the strongest product in that field, but you're just not as well known, like it'd probably be a really good strategy. But if your product is not as good and competitors were going to do that to you and you would get picked apart, probably not the best route to take.
No, no, certainly not. Um, so yeah, Jimmy, this talking about kind of setting your website up for Black Friday in terms of the kind of different landing pages. The main strategy I would be deploying, and I would be looking at getting it done ASAP, um, is actually setting up like a coming soon landing page, very much like how Lego do it here. So um, yeah, the URL is got Black Friday deals in the URL, so they're adding in the kind of main keyword, um, and then they've got this landing page of information about potentially the collections that are going to be shown on Black Friday. There's also a link out to their Cyber Monday page as well. Um, and if you scroll down at the bottom here as well, there's like an FAQ section. Again, these being able to add FAQs on the page, it helps to potentially rank for these search questions that people are looking for in Google, and you're going to show up for potentially featured snippets at the top of Google, or even the AI overview section. Um, Google started rolling out kind of AI answers to particular questions. So um, it's got some of the content on the page which allows it to rank well as well. So I really like this way of doing it, and I would assume as we get probably a week out from Black Friday, they will remove this page and um, switch it to their live sales page of various different products. They may even have individual Black Friday collection pages, um, given the size of their product line. But just being able to adopt this style with the landing page, the coming soon landing page, it allows you to start ranking for that page, and then
What
you can switch
I'm
it
curious,
out.
what shows up in Google when you type in Lego Black Friday deals?
It
Does
literally
like
shows
is
up
it
that page, Lego Black
yeah?
Friday. Yeah, it's the first one. So
Yeah.
you've got, yeah, Lego Black Friday toy deals 2024. So that's your SEO title, and then underneath you've got your meta description. So it it's already ranking number one. If they didn't have that page, it may not, the website may not actually be ranking. Um, so yeah, it's a good strategy ready. The only thing that I would actually suggest to Lego, if anyone is listening from Lego, is actually there's no box here to for someone to put their email in. So you know, sign up to our newsletter to get the Black Friday deals as soon as they are live. So you're not really capturing. It doesn't look like there's anywhere on the page here where you can, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It
put in
comes
your,
back to our earlier discussion about the pre-campaign and building that list. Like you want to do
yeah,
everything you can to build the list and make it as easy as possible for them to sign up to your list as well. So yeah, probably a slight missed opportunity for them there, definitely.
yeah. So this is another example of taking a strategy in a completely different industry, and I'm actually applying this to my client site in the automobile industry. I'm working with their in-house web developer and designer. We've created a replica, kind of a similar style um, version for them. We have included that sign up box um, just below
What
the
um
header.
what builder are you using for that, Charles? Is it a custom coded thing, or are you guys using an app to build them? Like, what's the most efficient way that you're finding to build a page on Shopify that looks good?
Um, I believe he's using gem pages. I don't actually know, to be honest with you. But I can certainly ask him a question, and on our call next week, I can I'll let people know, or even I'll drop it in the group. Yeah, I don't actually know. Um, but I got through the design this morning, and he was pretty fast in getting it executed. So I think he does use a combination of some custom designs, but also he's using a page builder to build it out.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that would be um, kind of my thought process is get a kind of coming soon page done first. Make sure that you're not using coming soon in the URL,
The
but
link. Yeah.
you've actually got Black Friday deals within that URL, um, including, and also I try and be looking at, you can look at something like SEM Rush or Ahrefs or Keyword Finder to see if anyone is searching for specific Black Friday keywords related to your products and collections. So, for example, if you're selling sofas, um, maybe Black Friday sofa deals is something that people are searching for. Well, actually, I know it is because I looked at it earlier, and there's like 2,400 searches a month, or 2,000, yeah, 400 searches around this period for that particular keyword. So, um, it's important to get those keywords on the page in order for you to rank. So yeah, that's kind of one example. And the other one was, and I think you brought it to my attention, was it factory buys? I think is the one.
Oh yeah, that's one that we've covered previously. They've had their
Yeah,
Black Friday messaging up for a long time. They throw it in the top nav menu and um yeah, I mean, see, it doesn't say anything about Black Friday there, but it's up to 70% off. So,
yeah.
um,
So
Yeah.
yeah, this is what
See,
I
they've
would be
got
doing for the larger scale stores is having kind of a master Black Friday page, and then off of that having building out individual Black Friday collection pages. So for example, this one, Black Friday mattress sale, um, and they've got an individual page for that as well. So that's if you're selling probably thousands and thousands of products and you've got hundreds of different collections. But if you're a smaller scale store, then just setting up like I said, the coming soon page and then switching it to a one master page of all your main Black Friday sales is going to be the right approach.
No, I agree, and I think one other thing I want people, especially if you're a smaller e-commerce store, have your abandoned carts like optimized. Go through your
Yeah.
abandoned cart flows again on your emails just to check them, because if you're getting a lot of traffic, you just want to. There's there's going to be so much noise during that period. If they've made it to the checkout, especially, and haven't converted, you want to be sending them an abandoned checkout flow that's really, because what I find is some people set up these emails and haven't looked at them in 2-3 years because they're just automated flows. So go through them and just redo them for that period, or jazz them up a little bit, run some split tests, see how they're converting before that period. But with the amount of noise that's going to happen on Black Friday, if you're doing all the work and someone's getting to the checkout, you just don't want to lose them because they've forgot or got distracted or life got in the way. So make sure that you have those abandoned cart and checkouts and browse abandonments. Make sure you've got all those email flows set up. If you're doing SMS, if you're doing kind of abandoned checkout through SMS, make sure you've got them all sorted out. If you're using push notifications, make sure you've got those flows sorted out. But yeah, there's a large scope of things that you can do and just check over before this period that could have significant impact on your results.
I guess it all comes down to the amount of resources and time you've got. If you're a one man band, it's going to be difficult to do everything. It's focusing on probably where your strengths lie. If you've got a big email list, then there's probably more of a focus on that. If you are confident with running ads and you have a proven track record there, then maybe that's the area to really hone in on as well. So yeah, I think it all depends on where you're at in your ecom journey.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think. Do you reckon we can? I reckon this one can almost be a slightly shorter episode than usual, Charles. I think there's a lot of value in today, and implementing over the next, week or so, or even starting implementing. If you're listening to this now, implement today or the day you're listening to. There's a few things that you can set up, and if you're one of those people that are only planning on doing kind of a 24-hour flash sale on Black Friday, it's time to start getting a bit more creative in your thinking and trying to find those opportunities for additional spikes in revenue. It will go a long way to making November the highest revenue month of the year for you. So definitely explore those other options, tidy up your email flows, get your SEO in place. Charles has got some training in the Facebook group. If you want to go check that out straight away after the call, go watch that. It will help you there. Get your Google Ads dialed in. Get your Meta ads ready. Your run through your pre-campaign strategy, your at-campaign strategy, and then your post-campaign strategy. Because straight after Black Friday, we're moving into the Christmas period. So it's not all hands off deck after that period. You want to maximize your Christmas period too. And then straight after that, you've got your New Year and Boxing Day sales in Australia. I'm not sure how big it is around the rest of the world.
UK is big. UK is
Okay.
big on Boxing Day. Yeah.
Yeah, Australia, it's massive. So again, that's another campaign that we'll be looking at too. But yeah, all this preparation's happening now. So yeah, in the e-commerce world, preparation can beat out a lot of things, because as Charles and I both know, there can be a lot of red tape in the bigger organisations, and by the time they actually get to reviewing these type of things, they just go for the flash sale. So it's a big opportunity for people that are nimble and flexible to really cash in during this period.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Okay, guys. Well, yeah. I guess until next time.
Catch you next week.